Let me check in with the wonderful adventures of Niles, the trip to Oland. They are advised, the geese, wild geese, by a wise old, another goose, that, you've got Smart Fox on your tail. You should go to Oland and hang out there for a little while to throw him off the track. And Akka decides to do this, leading them away, and is given fairly good instructions of like how to find it, even though they've never been there before, which does come up. And I think the striking bit of this section to me is that when they're flying, they're so high up in the sky, there's mist, and they lose sight of the Earth for a while. And Niles looks at things and thinks like, and gets kind of dizzy, like disoriented, like, I think we're leaving the Earth. I think we're going to heaven. And he's very excited to go to heaven. This little boy, it's like, oh, I'm going to ascend to heaven, which is like, are you strange for someone so young to kind of have, at least from my point of view, to have all this kind of mystical, spiritual, like, I'm going to ascend to heaven, which usually means you're going to die. You're just going to become a spirit. You're going to leave behind your physical bond, which we've had it referenced to before. It seems like a strange thing to put in the mind of a young fellow who wants to live, who's like, I want to get back to human society. I want to get back. He's got this real divide expressed in Niles between the animal world and the human world, and the human world being very much achievement, and there being some, it's very practical, the animal world for the most part, but there's also very much a spiritual context, spiritual side to it, and him kind of hungering for this. And at one point, finally, the mist clears enough, and he looks down, but he's confused because like they're now flying with this giant thing of birds, and he sees the reflection of the birds in the water, and he sees their bellies, and he just thinks it's more birds, that they're all flying, and some of them are flying upside down, truly kind of discombobulated in his perceptions, and just excited that he's going to go to heaven. However, this then gets in this illusion gets interrupted by a couple of explosions, and what it is hunters in boats beneath them shooting at the birds, and indeed killing some of the birds and them sinking down, and going from this kind of high, he says, like going from this kind of highly kind of elevated thing of like, I'm going to heaven, to hearing the cries and the anguish from all the birds around him over the murder of their fellows, and him very much now in the bird point of view, going like, how could anyone point a gun at my friends, at Akka, and then he lists a bunch of the other birds of his particular thing, like how could anyone ever try and kill them? Human beings just don't know what they're doing. Which, you can put one where you can decide one way or the other that I'm a meat eater, so it's very much something I do. They are fleeing a vengeful carnivore in this story. Smart Fox is after them. Cunning fox that he is, he's after them, and he's after them not for food. He's very much, this storytelling has imbued them with a personality, and it's revenge that Smart Fox is going for. I was thinking about this in the Heart of the Ancient Woods, which also anthropomorphizes animals, and I think this one does it a lot lighter touch. It's helpful that like the only actual human interaction that there is, like they're quite distrustful human beings, and indeed Niles for the longest time wasn't really particularly welcome, or was even going to get taken along, but he's magically been able to kind of cross that divide, becoming shrunk down to the size of an elf. He's not strictly a human being anymore, is what's kind of put forward as that. He's going to have to get transformed back to become a human being again. So there's enough of a detachment from human society that I don't have as much trouble with the fact that, he can understand what they're saying. For the most part, Selma Lagerslon is keeping them kind of doing animal things. There is a lot of fantastic, right from the start of Niles getting transformed, but there's also a lot of other fantastical elements. I've told you about kind of creation stories that have happened in here, which kind of signals it's like, okay, we're not supposed to take this as literally and maybe as psychologically literally as something like Heart of the Ancient Woods, which got it into, in my books, a lot of trouble for at the end, uh, a protagonist killed another protagonist who happened to be a bear and had a happy ever after because of it. It's just like that. That was just like mind-blowingly gross to me, because they had mixed the ill-advisedly mixed these worlds together. And when you accept animals as human, as basically human beings with human emotions and human motivations, well then if you have someone kill that being, you're going to take it as murder. And this is not coming from somebody who is a vegetarian. I'm just talking about the logic of the book, which the book does not follow that logic. It just says, yep, we murdered him. Oh well, now we have a happy ending for the people, the murderer and the woman who's been ripped out of this world, because she's a woman, she needs to be married off. It's like, okay, well, I'm relitigating in the Heart of the Ancient Woods now. I will stop from doing that and press stop. All right, more videos later.